communicate with your family? I'm not talking about your immediate family. I'm talking about your extended family. How often do you communicate with them? Do you ever communicate with them? Or do you forget that, that you're too busy and sometimes you got forget? Well, the problem with that is when something happens, you may regret that you weren't communicating with them more. Hello, everybody. My name is John Dornoff, and it's a dawn of a better life. An opportunity for you to have a better life, whether for whether you just your family, you can build a better life. Today it's going to be kind of a downer subject because it's going to talk about, are you communicating with your family? Now, in my case, I have a brother and 5 sisters. Well, I had 5 sisters. And we ended up being pretty separated. I had one sister living in Alaska. Then she started bouncing between California and Alaska. My brother is in California. I have another sister that lives in California. Then I have a sister that was in California but now is in Arizona. She's quite a bit older than me. And she had a stroke when she was 31 years old, and she just forgets to communicate at all with people. Just happens. Then I have a sister in Ocean Shores, Washington, that I hear from infrequently. I also had, then we would have had another brother, but he passed away as an infant about 15 years before I was born. Then as far as beyond that, I do have some cousins in Michigan. I have cousins in Montana. I have an aunt. In fact, my parents' generation, there's only one person left. That's my Aunt Judy. She is 98 years old. She's the last. And when she's gone, that whole generation's gone. Fortunately, I wish I could be there for her more. Unfortunately, she lives in Detroit. We've been able to get there. My entire family went there, visit with her. I visited there with my son. I visited with her just by myself when I've made trips to Detroit. So I have visited her, and of course we talked during the holidays. And I'll tell you, it's scary. Every time that she calls me and that phone pops up as, Aunt Judy, it scares me that she's gone and it's her caretaker Marie calling to say that she's gone. So I don't want that, I don't want to think about what I could have done more. Where could I have contacted her more? Never want to have that feeling. And sometimes it's the other people that don't communicate well with you. I had an Uncle John. Now my wife and I visited him. He was living in Whittier, California. And then his wife they moved up to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which was right near where my parents used to live. And we were living in Portland, yet they never communicated with us that Uncle John was moved up there because his systems were starting to fail. They never said that. And I didn't even find out anything until after he had passed away. And I was as close as you can be to an uncle. Like I said, we visit him often. My family used to have a family reunion every year in Vegas. He would come up there, and even though it was primarily my dad's side of the family, his side, he would come up there. We would have a good time together. And yet, I didn't even get to say goodbye because his family just didn't care. And when my Aunt Mary passed away, same thing. Never heard a thing from him. Which is really sad because it hurts you that what could you have done different? And it's like, we always tried to communicate. So, But you always want to take that chance. Never take a chance that you might lose somebody. Give you a perfect example was my every Sunday, my parents always called my wife and I to see how we were doing. And my dad had cancer, and I had actually planned a trip, a surprise trip, that I was going to go up there to Spokane. They were living in Spokane at the time. I was going to surprise them with a visit, but a couple weeks before I was supposed to go up there, so they would always call in the morning. Sunday evening comes around, the phone rings, and it's my parents, and I knew what the call was. And I just told my mother, I will be up there. We'll be up there as soon as possible. Unfortunately, it was not a great week because my boss's brother was killed in an auto accident. So she was gone. At the time, my other co-worker boss, he was actually military. He was in the National Guard, so he was out on, tour, or he was doing, I forget what exactly was going on. I think it was his their annual 2-week tour. And so I was the only one there until the next day. My boss came back and, said, go ahead and go. You can go now. She came back earlier than she wanted to, but just to make sure I could go up to be with my mother. And so we drove up there through a blizzard. But when it comes to that, is my brother would also try to call. Unfortunately, that particular weekend, he got busy and forgot to call. And that is, he has thought about that for so long that he forgot to make that call, and then he was gone. My dad was gone. So you just never know. You want to make sure you are keeping contact with your family. Now, I'm a really emotional person. I really care about people. And so I don't want, it hurts when, something like that happens. And I have lost people I cared about and wasn't in communication with them, and I feel bad about it to this day. But there's not much you can do about it. It's water under the bridge. But what you can do about it is make sure to contact those that mean the most to you. You care about you, and you care about them. So that way you never have to worry about the regret of forgetting to contact somebody and then losing them unexpectedly or whatever. Because you just never know what could happen. They could get cancer and die from cancer, but they could also die in an auto accident. I've known people who've died in auto accidents, and it's so sad. One minute they're here, and next minute they're gone. So you never want to worry about, did you not communicate with them how much you care about them? Do it. Who can you call today? Who do you really care about today that you need to call right now and think about it? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We're getting better on posting on a regular basis. We want you to have a better life. It's the dawn of a better life for you if you make the decision to have a better life. Thank you, and have a great week.